Welcome to VSB News Online for Thursday, November 20th. I'm Peter Cattell. Home Affairs Minister Michael Fay raised a few eyebrows in the Senate during the throne speech debate when he expressed the wish that there were more banks operating in Bermuda. VSB News' Brian Darby asked him why.
What we've said repeatedly is if we could get new service providers, banks, as just one of them, that would be tremendous because that opens up opportunity. That opens up opportunity for new capital, that opens opportunity for business to use alternative banks. The Minister of Finance has been very clear that if that could happen, that would be tremendous. So absolutely, I think that's something that we must continue to look at and we continue to work at.
Have the international companies actually hinted that they would like to have more banking services? What you'll find, Brian, certainly in my experience, is that when you are servicing lots of companies, a lot of these companies will say, wouldn't it be wonderful if we had more choice for, say, maybe another law firm, maybe there's an opportunity for another banker, because they want to have a diverse portfolio, not always going to the same entities. Right. I believe it's very important that if we continue to be able to grow international business, it's a natural progression that they're serviced by other companies, and that would mean quite possibly other banking opportunities. That's the future.
And that's the future, yeah.
Independent Senator James Jardine earned the gratitude of the opposition PLP in the Senate when he supported their idea of introducing e-gaming.
I'm repeating somewhat what I said the last time and was also mentioned by my colleagues on the right, and that's the subject of e-gaming, which again has been ignored or maligned by some as being a non-starter. Now it could well be that after investigation the government may decide that it simply is not workable for whatever reason. But I do know, Madam President, and I mentioned this the last time I spoke on the subject, and I have the facts here if anybody wants to see it, that both the Isle of Man and Gibraltar have very successfully introduced e-gaming, and I just want to talk about the Isle of Man for 2 seconds. They started this process in the early 2000s, 2001, and in 2012, online gaming now represents 9% of their GDP, or some $558 million, and employs over 800 people, both directly and indirectly, in that particular area of work. And in fact, it grew by 16% in 2002 and is expected to generate some $30 million in tax revenue in 2013. So again, I mention this as something that I believe should be looked at. As I say, there may be a perfectly good reason as to why it's not feasible here, but I'd certainly like to hear what it is.
Finance Minister Bob Richards told the annual dinner of the Bermuda Society in London that the British government is pressuring Bermuda to adopt a public register of the owners of businesses, despite the fact that the island has been providing such information to fiscal regulators since the 1940s. VSB News' Brian Darby explains the issue.
Mr. Richards said, "We have gone out of our way to cooperate with other countries' tax authorities when it comes to sharing information on their taxpayers doing business in Bermuda. We have had a tax information exchange agreement with the US since 1986. We were one of the early adopters of FATCA. Bermuda has over 70 tax information exchange agreements, or TIAs, with other countries. And when we are asked for information by one of our TIA partners, we are prepared to use the courts to enforce the request. In the past year, I have taken 3 recalcitrant entities to court for dragging their feet on TIA requests and have won all 3 times. So we take our obligations seriously in this regard. One thing is certain: if you are a tax evader, a terrorist financier, or a fraudster, don't use Bermuda. We don't want your business, and you are not protected on our shores." Brian Darby reporting for VSB News.
Depending on who you listen to, the celebrity cruise ship Eclipse canceled bringing its 3,000 passengers to Bermuda this week because of a hurricane said to be threatening the island, the presence of heavy weather in the Atlantic, or the late departure of the ship from Southampton. The suggestion that someone was lying was particularly offensive to the large number of Bermuda residents who had booked the repositioning trip and were not happy that the ship made a last-minute decision to divert to Madeira, before heading for New York. One such passenger told VSB News that specially printed tour brochures for Madeira, which appeared on board the ship before it actually set sail, had raised his suspicions that Bermuda had been cut out of the itinerary weeks before, probably after Tropical Storm Faye and Hurricane Gonzalo paid us a visit. And we'll be right back with more news after this.
The Marketplace Food Court is you and your family's one-stop shop. Start your day at the breakfast bar with omelets made to order and traditional Bermuda codfish breakfast. The chefs will cook lunch and dinner to your liking. Along with the salad bar, sandwich bar, sushi bar, and fruit bar, the Marketplace Food Court is your kitchen away from home. Every day is hassle-free with nutritious meals from the Marketplace Food Court. Visit us 7 days a week. Homemade cooking, quality service, all at prices you can count on.
It is currently a beehive of construction activity, but progress is being made in an iconic Hamilton landmark where plans call for a spring opening. We sent Charles Webb in for a sneak preview, and here is his report.
I'm standing at the gazebo lounge of the Fairmont Hamilton Princess, which come next spring will be the celebrity chef Mark Samuelson restaurant. Everybody's excited about it, including Roydell Neverson, who is the director of rooms at the hotel, who tells us what we will experience next year. We're in this shell that was once the gazebo lounge. What can we anticipate come spring of next year?
We're going to have a celebrity restaurant under the direction of Marcus Samuelson, our celebrity chef, which is very exciting for us. It's going to have a veranda with spectacular views overlooking our marina as well as the Hamilton Harbor.
So tell me about the decor. Will it be formal or will it be casual?
It would be smart casual. We have a bar here as well with an open kitchen concept as well as a veranda with chairs overlooking the Hamilton Harbor as well as the marina.
Now I know one thing the Bermudians are curious about is our bar downstairs. Tell me how that will look.
It's very exciting. As you come into the hotel where you currently see the hoarding, that will obviously come down. The bar is going to be very exciting with white marble paneling. We're also going to extend that to our courtyard. With the courtyard, we're going to have tables dining outside with fire pits as well as a garden with palm trees walking down, leading to our marina as well as to our restaurant 1609.
So sitting here in the gazebo or in the Heritage Court, I would have a panoramic view of the marina and the harbor?
Absolutely, especially both outside and inside. You would have a view, obviously outdoors, you'd have a better view when you're on the veranda.
Now, I know you're doing something about your rooms. Tell me about that.
We're actually renovating some of our guest rooms in our gazebo as well as part of our Phase 2 renovations, which actually will be completed in summer of 2015.
So 2015 promises to be very exciting.
Very exciting for us at the Fairmont Hamilton Princess, for sure.
Opposition Senate Leader Diallo Rabane pointed out after the throne speech debate in the upper house that no political party has the exclusive right to ideas. It's getting things done that counts.
Everyone can have ideas, but you have to have the willpower and the wherewithal to move them forward. And what we're articulating is that Bermuda can only move forward if everyone is involved. We can't have just a select few people being involved and hopefully they generate the types of things that then trickle down to everyone else. Everyone needs to be at the table talking, and because everyone can provide some sort of assistance.
And you criticize the OBA for not being quite like that.
Well, yes, I would criticize them because if you look in their throne speech, it talked about collaboration, it talked about working together. And if you look over the last 2 years of them being the government, we've had marches, we've had demonstrations, and I mean, everything can be summed up with the disaster of a town hall meeting that we had done at Pier 6. It was absolutely terrible. I actually felt bad for Mr. Bob Richards down there because it was woefully inadequate what was trying to be done. And I think the One Bermuda Alliance is finally starting to realize that the electorate is a lot smarter than they think. The electorate know what they want. The electorate know that, you know, we're suffering, and they know that we all have to sacrifice. They know that we all have to bring something to the table. The question is the shared sacrifice across the board, or is it only expected from the middle and low income?
When it comes down to, well, that was my idea, no, it's our idea, it sounds so petty.
Personally, Brian, I don't care about the my idea, your idea. If it was a good idea, move forward with it. If it wasn't, say it wasn't and move forward with it. We find ourselves tending to have so much back and forth when it comes to the idea thing, but at the end of the day, it's supposed to be all of us working collectively to move forward.
When the tripartite group of unions, government, and employers met recently, Home Affairs Minister Senator Michael Fay laid out some of the statistics that lay behind the OBA government's claim that the economy was showing the green shoots of a recovery. He repeated them in the Senate.
We certainly touched on the fact that there's some real growth in GDP for the first time in 5 years, albeit it's a low number of 1%. The fact that there's been growth for the first time in 5 years, I think, goes a long way to instilling confidence in the economy and confidence in those who wish to make investment in Bermuda. People want to be on board when there is growth, so they can be part of that growth, and we're very pleased with that. One of the other issues that I did raise today was when we talk about, say, the construction industry and getting people employed through the smaller projects, which has been something that the Minister of Finance has been very keen on seeing. The Department of Planning, we've removed an awful lot of red tape in respect of the way in which the applications are processed, which obviously instills confidence and gets business growing in terms of construction jobs. But I did present a number of figures that I presented to the tripartite retreat about a month ago, which I think it'd be useful to share. We have seen growth in respect of building permit issuances. So just having a look at it from 2013, for the entire year, there were 471 building permit applications so far, and these figures were from the end of September. In 2014, the figure is 605. So that's just up through the first 9 months. So you see that uptick and that swing in the number of applications being made for building permits. That's when you actually can start building, which means the planning permission has already been granted. Again, with planning applications and revisions for the whole of 2013, there were 556. And up until the end of September, again, I believe it's end of September of 2014, there's been 674 planning applications submitted, which again shows that confidence in the economic growth.
Work on Public Works Minister Pat Gordon-Pamplin's hurricane-damaged roof cost less than $1,000, the Senate discovered yesterday, and the bill of $765 has been settled in full. This is the follow-up to a hue and cry in which the minister was said to have received preferential treatment. VSB News' Chris Lodge has more.
Ms. Gordon-Pamplin had drawn opposition criticism after Public Works teams were seen fixing her storm-damaged roof. Apparently, there were some 42 private homes treated by Public Works teams in the wake of Hurricane Gonzalo last month, and 121 homes repaired by teams coordinated through the assistance of the Bermuda Regiment. Plywood was issued by the regiment without charge. Those details emerging from written answers by Junior Minister Lynn Woolridge to questions from Shadow Minister Diala Rabane. And after all that, Mrs. Gordon-Pamplin says her roof is still not fixed. She said last night that there were no repairs to her roof. The work done was top reinforcement, not roof repairs. The roof, she says, still has a hole in it. She's still getting water pouring into her house, but at least she's been able to put poly up onto the rafters inside to direct the water into buckets. I'm Chris Lodge, VSB News.
4 Bermuda properties appear among the 15 best resorts in the Caribbean and Atlantic in 2014, according to the readers of Condé Nast Traveler magazine. The Reefs was ranked first, Rosewood, Tuckers Point 6th, Pompano Beach Club 12th, and Cambridge Beaches 13th. The Turks and Caicos had 8 in the top 15, led by the Venetian on Grace Bay, which finished second, and the Seven Stars Resort third. And now we turn to Earl Baisden, all the way from the Central American and Caribbean Games in Veracruz, Mexico, for today's sports report.
Welcome to VSB Sports. I'm Earl Baisden reporting from Veracruz, Mexico. The Bermuda women's national hockey team went into their third and final Group B match against Guyana in Veracruz, Mexico during the 22nd Central American and Caribbean Games. After going down in their first two group matches 5-0, the Bermuda team was looking to put in a good performance and get on the scoreboard. The players would have been a little happier with their performance, but not with the result, as they went down 1-0 to a field goal off the stick of Leah Sanderson from Guyana. During day 3 of the preliminaries of the Central American and Caribbean Games swimming competition in Mexico, a new Bermuda national record was set. Roy Allen Birch finished 4th in Heat 1 of the men's 50-meter butterfly. Birch touched the wall in a time of 24:77. Birch's time was the first time a Bermuda swimmer had gone under 25 seconds in this event. Bermuda national coach Ben Smith was asked if setting a new record in the butterfly was part of the plan coming into the game. The Woolridges have weighed in for the 7th Sanda World Cup in Indonesia. St. Wally Woolridge weighed in at 69.9 kilograms, while Jamal Woolridge weighed in at 108.4 kilograms. Both will have round-robin fights and will fight twice. Jamal Woolridge is set to face off against Omar Ali Bada from Egypt later today, and Mustafa Kabari from Iran tomorrow, while St. Wally Woolridge will face Li Shan from China first thing tomorrow morning and Afrat Hadid from Tunisia tomorrow evening. The pair are preparing for the opening ceremony where Jamal Woolridge was selected as the athlete's representative, and he will read the athlete's oath. Jillian Teixeira and Tyler Lopes continued competing in their first indoor competition of the season, competing in Belgium. On day 3, Teixeira and Chikera competed in the 1.30 meter table A against the clock with a jump off against the clock class, finishing 73rd, clocking a time of 75.09, and they had 8 penalty fault points. Lopes and Novantas competed in the 1.10 meter table A against the clock with a jump off against the clock class, where they finished 15th with a time of 89.15, and they had 16 penalty fault points. Teixeira and Amarula competed in the 1.35 Table A, 2 phases, first phase and second phase, Table A against the clock class, finishing 8th with a clear round time of 73.88. Teixeira then mounted Lack of Vows and competed in the 1.45 meter Table A against the clock with a jump off against the clock class, and they finished 84th, clocking a time of 80.22, and they had 18 penalty fault points. The Salwan Island Basketball League continued inside the Summersfield Academy Gymnasium last evening with a men's doubleheader. A total of 91 points were scored in the opener as the Twisters defeated the Skyforce 54-37. Kevin Stevens scored a game-high 21 points for the Twisters, while Marcus Robinson scored 15 points for the Skyforce. The Nightcap saw the Crossfire Ballers defeated the Hoop Stars 52-44. Jason Simons led the Crossfire Ballers to victory with a game-high 23 points, while Junior Warner scored 9 points for the Hoop Stars. The Bermuda Volleyball Association's Winter League season is underway at 2 locations, the Cedar Bridge Academy Gymnasium and the Warwick Academy Gymnasium. At the Cedar Bridge Academy Gymnasium on Net D, the Russian Revolutions defeated Take a Hit 18-15. Take a Hit then defeated the Blizzards 18-9. with Chango defeating the Russian Revolution 18-7 in the next game. At the Warwick Academy Gymnasium on Net A, the Alphas defeated CU Next Tuesdays 25-18. CU Next Tuesdays stayed on the court and defeated the Digs 25-8. CU Next Tuesdays played 3 games in a row, and they defeated the Boogie Fight 25-21. Boogie Fight then defeated the Alphas 25-12, and the Digs then defeated the Alphas 25-14. In second spring senior building league action at the Work Lanes, it saw the Last Pins defeat the Pin Splitters 3-1. The Tigers got by Olding Kicking 3-1, while Go and Get It defeated the Last Minutes 3-1. The matches between the Newcomers and the Blue Angels, as well as the Islanders and the Drifters, ended 822. I'm Earl Baston reporting from Veracruz, Mexico for VSB Sports.
Thanks for watching VSB News Online for Thursday, November 20th. I'm Peter Cattell.